So back in July, I tagged a few avocados on some different trees. It's now January, and I'd like to see how they're doing. Let me explain. So this is an edronol tree. So some avocados I tagged with orange strings, while others were tagged with green or yellow, let's call them yellow strings. I tagged the smallest fruit I could find on the tree. Remember, these were young, small fruitlets, but I tagged the smallest fruitlets back in July with yellow strings, and I tagged the biggest fruitlets in July that I could find with orange strings. The purpose was I wanted to see if there was a difference between the fruit drop or the retention rate of these different sized fruitlets, as well as a consistency, like would the big fruits remain bigger or would the small fruits catch up in size ultimately when it came close to harvest time. So as you can see on this edronol tree, the small fruit is still smaller. The big fruit tagged with orange is still bigger, but both of them remain on the tree. There's been no drop. I only tagged one big one and one small one on each tree. But let me show you what happened on the other trees, and then I'll just talk about why it might be useful information. So here's a Gwen tree. Let's see what happened with the tagged fruits here. I know because I found it on the ground. The small fruit that I tagged with yellow dropped, but it dropped a long time ago. But the orange fruit, the big fruit that I tagged with orange, is still there. So there's a difference in the fruit drop between those two. Let's go to another tree. Okay, now this is a Hass tree, and you can see that the orange fruit, the big fruit that I tagged, is right here. Still there, but I remember finding the small fruit, the yellow fruit, on the ground some months back. So there's another difference between the fruit drop. Let's look at another tree. Okay, this is a reed tree, and I don't find either of the tagged fruits in here. I remember finding them both on the ground at some point in the past. So the big fruit and the small fruit both dropped from this tree. And finally, here's a Pinkerton tree. Let's see what happened to its tagged fruit. Okay, here's the orange, the big fruit, still here. And I did find over here, here is the yellow. Still here. You can see the size compared to the orange. It's significantly smaller. So the size change the sizes didn't change. The small is still small. The orange is still big. And that happened on all the trees. Both of these fruits did not drop. So it seems that we had some drop of the small fruit, almost no drop of the big fruit, and the sizes didn't change. This is not a scientific study, right? We need to tag a lot more fruit to make any conclusions. But the point, what I wanted to discover was, if you needed to thin the fruit, let's say there was just too much fruit on this limb, and I wanted to thin some of the fruit in order to reduce the droop and the susceptibility to sunburn, or to keep the fruit off the ground or something, would you do well to thin the smaller avocados on that branch compared to the bigger avocados, because the smaller ones were going to stay small, or they were going to drop? They were more likely to drop. So that's what I was aiming to use the information for. And I think as of now, it's worth studying some more. And if I were thinning fruit from a branch, I would thin the smaller fruit, because it is possible that that fruit would drop more frequently, and it seems more likely that the small fruit is going to remain small all the way until harvest, even though I can't say that for sure. All right.